Saw that. Greetings, and welcome to Zanesville, Ohio, where today we're looking at the Zanesville Y Bridge. Y Bridge? Why not bridge? Yeah, I kind of hate myself for that one too. So, being totally serious for a moment, what happens when you've got two rivers that come together to form a third one, and you need bridges that cross on all sides? Well, you could build three individual bridges, or you could point them all to the middle and let traffic sort itself out. And that's what they did. This ain't your daddy's Y Bridge. In fact, this ain't your granddaddy's Y Bridge. This is actually the fifth Y Bridge that stood in this location. So, rivers have a tendency to, flood. And when that happens, they like to remove man-made things like bridges. Like this one. Well, maybe not this one.
While the Muskingum River is now regulated by a series of flood controls, it wasn't always that way. Locals built the first Y Bridge over the Licking and Muskingum Rivers in 1814, just after the War of 1812 was wrapping up, and it was a trestle-style bridge, typically used over shallow marshes and slow-moving rivers. The bridge stood for about 4 years before being washed away in flood. Resiliency ain't got nothing on the city of Zanesville, so in 1819 they built the second Y Bridge at this location. As foretold by the story of the Three Little Pigs, they too built this second structure out of wood. This led to an increase in traffic, and new roads leading up to the bridge were built. But in the winter between 1831 and 1832, there was another flood. The flood weakened the bridge enough that it was determined to be unsafe for traffic and was closed. Zanesville set the rebuild efforts to ludicrous speed and completed the third bridge in 1832, with a little bit more thought about floods and maybe some wolves blowing down the bridges or something like that. They even taunted nature by making it a wooden covered bridge. Oh, hubris. If you were guessing that there was another flood, you would be absolutely correct. That bridge stood until 1900, and the people of Zanesville again looked to the Three Little Pigs for imagination, and this time decided that the next bridge was going to be made of concrete. It opened in 1902 and made Zanesville, according to the pilot Amelia Earhart, the most recognizable city in the country. And like Ramses in the movie 10 Commandments, they said to themselves of this concrete bridge, "So it is written, so shall it be done." And much like Moses to Ramses, nature replied, "Get the effing hint already." And a flood came through in 1913, taking out parts, but not all of the bridge. That bridge, the fourth Y Bridge, was restored and eventually added to the National Register of Historic Places. The fourth bridge stood until 1979, what was determined to be structurally unsafe. However, the joke was on them, though, because after demolition it was found that only 2 sides needed surface repairs and only 1 needed replacement. Oops.
So, like me when asked to go on a camping trip, the residents of Zanesville said, "Screw nature," and decided they were going to build another bridge. That one is the one that you see here today.
Which brings us to this. The fifth, and as of this video, final Zanesville Y Bridge. Opened in 1984, it is a bigger multi-way bridge. Although much stronger, being made out of steel and cement, it has received some criticism for having high rails that prevent you from seeing the scenery. I know what some of you are probably asking. What do you do when you get to the middle bridge? Well, the short answer is there's a traffic light. Alright, so is this bridge unique? Kind of. There are Y or T-shaped bridges all over the planet. The bridge in Hiroshima was actually used as a target for the atomic bombing because it stood out. There's one in Denmark which 2 of the spans raise up to let sailboats pass under the waters. There's even one in Leatex, France, that's a 4-way bridge. A lot of those other bridges, though, those are footbridges, and even more have 2 legs that go up the same side of the river, unlike the one in Zanesville. I mean, heck, there's even another Y Bridge just nearby in Lowell, Ohio. What I really think sets the Zanesville Bridge apart is that every time nature smited the bridge with righteous fury, the people of Zanesville channeled their inner rage against the machine, saying, "F you, I won't do what you tell me." And after a sigh, some reflection on how to make it better, they, like Liverpool's Steve Gerrard, said, "We go again." And they did, many times. Y Bridge? Because Zanesville is punk rock about it. If you would like to see the Zanesville Y Bridge, it can be found on US Route 40 at the intersection of Main Street and Linden Avenue over the Licking and Muskingum Rivers. If you liked this video, found it interesting, and want to see more interesting things from Ohio, America, and all over the world eventually, please like, subscribe, and ring the bell to follow this channel and receive updates about future videos. We also have a feedback page where you can chat with us and let us know what you think, and we do read the comments, so we always appreciate those. As always, thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.